Hi guys, I like to walk every single day. I like to drink water every single day, and I avoid sugar like the plague. Today is day 90 of me going without sugar, and it's close to day 500 of us venters walking every single day. What happens when you drink water, eliminate sugar, and walk every single day? You start to lose weight like crazy, but it doesn't just like drop off you like you're anorexic or bulimic. You get healthier. So if you really want to change your life and you want to do it in a way that's doable, copy me, copy us venters, walk for a half hour to an hour every single day and drink a lot of water, and hopefully during that time you can slowly but surely wean yourself away from the sugar. Everybody's going to eat sugar every once in a while, but if you can wean yourself away from it, you'll start to look like this guy. You see this tall, skinny guy? His name is Abba, and his partner there, the smaller, thicker looking guy, that is Preach. They make up a comedy duo here on YouTube called Abba and Preach, and today they had one of the best stories that I've heard all year, and I want to share it with you guys. They had a story of two African-American guys who caught their daughters stealing. The first guy caught his daughter stealing, I believe it was a piece of candy.
So you went back in there and paid for a candy that she had already walked out the store with?
Yeah, she stole it.
Why would you do that? I would never do something like that. I would just leave.
It's called integrity.
Maybe I don't have that.
And the video starts off with the mom asking the husband, or the dad, I should say, why would you make her go back in and return the candy to the store owner? That is embarrassing, and I would never do that to my child. And he flat out answered her with one word. It's about integrity. And so he made his daughter go in there, eat some humble pie, right? Learn about humility, learn about what's right and wrong, and I think we should applaud that dad. But I see where the mom's coming. You might not want to embarrass your children, but here's the thing. It's your job to embarrass the kids. If it means the right way, if it means making the right decision over the wrong decision. Because what we all know in this world is that if you're not going to teach your children the difference between right and wrong, somebody will. And it's so much better if you go up to people and say, hey, I stole something from you. I'd like to return it, and I'd like to either pay for it or at least make this right. There's something really special about you as a human being, and if you instill that into your children, God, that's about the best thing you can do as far as I'm concerned. Now, I see again where the mom's coming from, but what she's doing in a weird way is she's kind of setting a good cop, bad cop example for her daughter. Her daughter is going to know that when she's in the presence of her mom's okay with her doing whatever she wants, whereas when she's in the presence of her dad, she's going to know that that shit don't fly. If they were united and she knew that both of her parents were on the side of that shit ain't going to fly, then it would be a perfect scenario. So this family has a little bit to work on, but they're moving in the right direction. Let's fast forward to the second father. The second father catches his daughter, she looks 8, 9, or 10 years old, stealing some, I guess, Lee press-on nails. He makes her go back into the store, pay for those nails, and then on top of that, he takes the nails from her. She doesn't get to keep them. She just paid for them. And he and the shop owner, I guess, kind of collude together to make it sound like there's a cop in the back. And basically, not only does he try to teach his daughter the right thing, but he tries to legitimately scare her by making her feel that she was going to go to jail. Now, Preach, he said that one of the things that his parents would have done to him when he was little is they would have beat the shit out of him. If you're a little bit older, like my age, right, 40s, 50s, 60s, a lot of us come from that time where our parents, whether it be your mom or dad, would have busted out the belt on your butt, right? But Abba brought up a good point. If you're not going to steal because your dad's going to whip your ass, that seems great. The only problem is it teaches people that when dad's not around, then I can steal. Not everybody, but for some, right? So what Abba was saying is that it's better to do it like these fathers did. Go in, make your kids eat some humble pie, make them give back the product that they attempted to steal, and make them apologize. See, these little lessons that you teach your kids when it comes to like humility and doing the right thing, they can go a long way. So I think in both of these cases of these fathers, they should be applauded, but some people didn't really like how these fathers were kind of putting their daughter on blast, and on top of that, they were filming it. So what would be the perfect scenario? The perfect scenario would be one where they went ahead and went through with this, but didn't necessarily have to videotape it for TikTok or YouTube. With that being said, I'm really glad that they videotaped it for TikTok and YouTube, because now we get to witness it. So here's my first question for you guys. I think there's a right and wrong way to discipline the kids. I'm okay with what both dads did, but I could totally see people saying, hey, you don't have to put your child on blast and then videotape it for the whole world to see. The one person that I don't really agree with in both of these equations, or excuse me, in the first equation, is the mom. The mom flat out took her daughter's side, which is great. You should be on the side of your kids. But by doing so, she put a rift between her and the father. Either way, absolutely loved the show. I recommend you guys check out Abba and Preach, and I recommend you check out this video on their channel. I just thought it was super impressive. What I also thought was impressive were some of the comments. Let's go over those together. Oh, and by the way, would you guys have done the same thing if you found out that your son or daughter, let's say they were at the tender age of 7 or 8 years old, would you have actually made them go back into the convenience store and return the candy? Would you have made them go back into the Walgreens or CVS and return the press-on fingernails? I think some of us would have done it. I think others would have done what the mom said. Let the kids know that that's not what you're supposed to do, but get in the car before the cops come. Let's get the fuck out of here. Another reason I like that they videotaped it is we've been seeing a lot of videos the last handful of years of people doing the wrong things in public, people doing despicable things. When you see somebody and they're setting a precedent that, hey, we're going to videotape our kid doing the right thing and the parents doing the right thing, who knows, maybe that could start a trend. Guys, wouldn't it be cool if in the future, instead of videos showing people going crazy and crashing out and making horrible decisions, wouldn't it be cool if it actually showed people doing the right thing? Sometimes the right thing is not simple. This dad takes a risk that his daughter's going to grow up hating him. But you know what? If you grow up hating your parents because they instill discipline in you, that's kind of on you. This is where, once again, it's better if the parents are on the same team. @Demisable Worth says, I stole a Micro Machine car when I was a child. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Micro Machine cars, but picture a little toy car, but it's literally the size of like your thumbnail, just very, very small car. And they were very, very fun. We used to love them when I was a boy, so I could see how he would see something and want to put it in his pocket. It says, well, I stole a Micro Machine car when I was a child. My mother forced me to take it back. She spoke to the manager and the on-site police. I thought I was going to jail. By the time my whole face was covered in snot and tears, at home I got a spanking and lost my toys. See, so not only did he lose the toy he was trying to steal, but he got punished and lost his toys at home. That was 30 years ago, and I never stole again. So let's go back to that original question. There's a right way and a wrong way to discipline. If the dad doesn't do it the way he does, maybe the daughter doesn't even think twice and keeps on stealing. But if you throw a little humiliation in there, not horribly humiliating, but a little bit, it kind of teaches them that, hey, if I get caught in the future, I could get humiliated again, and it kind of forces people to want to avoid that, that displeasure, so to speak. So again, just like this person said, I never stole again. When I was little, I used to go in the candy aisle when I was 3 or 4, and I can remember grabbing the candy, but I didn't realize what stealing was. I thought I was just grabbing a little candy. probably wasn't a big deal. But at the same time, what if I was never caught and was always allowed to do that? It could have made me grow up to be a thief, which thank God I'm not. I promise, I mean it. Seriously, I'm not. Okay, so I steal ideas from other YouTube creators, but so does everybody else. At Marquise8156 says, so many fatherless kids out there, and this guy gets shamed for doing a good job, shaking my head. So apparently there were a lot of people in the comments of the original video, not necessarily the Abba and Preach video, the original one, and it was just saying, you don't do that to your kids. You know what? Maybe that's the problem with the world. Maybe we don't have enough people actually doing this to their kids. Maybe the next generation will grow up, and instead of liking all those horrible videos, maybe they'll actually like these videos where people are forced to do the right thing at first, and then ultimately they learn to just do the right thing. I love it. I love it. When you're young and you're a teenager, you kind of are against the law and you're against, authority. And half the time the kids will tell you, you ain't my dad, you ain't my mom. Those are the kids that grow up and get their ass kicked. It is your job as a parent to let kids know, not only should you know right from wrong, but you better choose right. Otherwise, you're gonna get the spankings. See, that's what happens when we as people start taking away parents' ability to discipline their kids. In the 90s, I think like 2/3 of parents had admitted to spanking their children as a form of punishment. Well, by the time 2005 rolled around, I think that number dropped to like 10%. If you're not disciplining your kids with a good spanking every now and then, they're gonna grow up not having any fears and they're gonna do whatever the hell they want. And you might say, Jesse, does this mean you spanked your kids? No, believe it or not, I got lucky. My kids just grew up naturally not wanting to steal. I think it's because we watched enough movies together as a family, and you would see in movies how injustices happen to people. That car right there says, just married. Man, if we had more couples getting married and we had more parents working together as a team, we could really change the world. The problem with the world is everyone wants to look the other way. At Veruzen says, it's about integrity. That's all I needed to hear from him. You see, not only is negative shit that you see addictive and contagious, but positive stuff can be addictive and contagious too. If this starts to set a trend of parents doing the right thing, do you guys see how magically powerful that could be going forward? I'm telling you, that's how we change the world, one child at a time. And if this girl, I wish we could keep track of these two little girls some way, somehow. Wouldn't it be neat if in 20 years they ended up being a content creator and they said, hey, the reason I've never been in trouble with the law and the reason I've never been in trouble with other people and doing people disrespectful and wrong is because I had a father in my life that didn't allow that bullshit. I'm telling you, I hope to goodness, even if they're fake, I hope we see more videos like this. Wouldn't that be great if these type of videos were the ones that started going viral? Aaron Smith says, this is the same type of woman, talking about the mom, that if they separated would create so many negative stories about the dad to make herself look better. You know, it's interesting. Everybody thinks the world of their boyfriend until they split up. And then a lot of times you'll hear he was very abusive, he was very narcissistic, he was very controlling, he didn't want me to be around my friends. When in reality, it was just a girl that wanted to hang out with her friends and be single rather than be a part of a team. Jesse, that's not fair. That's not how it always is. I know. But right now, we're under the guise that it's always a guy being a narcissistic prick, when in reality, some guys just set their foot down and they're not going to be run over by disrespectful people, even if it's their significant other. Sir Yedis says, if you don't teach them now, society will. Sir Yedis, don't you agree with me when I say better for the dad to teach her now where there's not really any trouble that's going to come of it, rather than doing this in 10 or 15 years when it's too late because the cops have already arrested his daughter and taken her to jail. You know, that's the real shitty thing, because what happens when you get a record? It becomes darn near impossible for you to get a real job. Those are the cruel dads. The moms and dads that just are okay with whatever the hell their kids do. And if you try to discipline their kids, they get pissed at you. Jesse, you're not supposed to discipline other people's kids. I know, but that's what's wrong with the world. Because parents don't want to discipline their own kids. Other people that are strangers have to say, hey, you're not acting right. And then you end up having a brawl at the local Pizza Hut over it. At Generic says that man isn't raising one daughter, he's raising two. You know, that guy, every time he's got an argument in the future, I think it is going to be his wife and his daughter against him. Let's hope we're wrong on that. At Ace King Oil and Gas says, teaching children shouldn't just be exposing them to the negative consequences of being bad. It should also be about showing them the rewards of good behavior. Well, duh, of course. If you have a good child that kicks ass, gets good grades, I don't think there's anything wrong with spoiling them with a gift or a treat or a reward. But at the same time, when you turn on videos, I've never seen this type of video where they actually have a person go in and return the stolen item. That shit's entertainment to me. We have a bad habit on YouTube of watching the same shit through different points of view. How many people can tell you a story about the Orange Man over and over and over? We never hear this stuff. This is what Americana is all about. And another thing that Americana is about getting out and being a part of your neighborhood. Put your shoes on, go for a walk, lose some weight, try to challenge yourself this week. Say, I'm gonna go a week and a half or 10 days without eating sugar. And then when you get to the 10th day, instead of rewarding yourself with a bite of cheesecake, go for another 10 days. Why don't you join me? I'm on day 90, you're on day 1. Let's walk, drink water, avoid sugar, and let's change our lives. And if your daughter or son is a thief, tell them to stop it and don't allow it. Never allow your kids to do bad. It's gonna end up costing everybody, especially your kids. So if you love them, don't let them get away with that crap. And if you love this show, please hit the thumbs up button, hit subscribe, come back again tomorrow. We'll take another walk. I'll see you then.